Hello everyone, and welcome back to another repair video. Today, we're diving into a Samsung Galaxy A14 that's experiencing a frustrating charging issue. The first step we need to take is to carefully remove the SIM card tray from the device. Once the SIM tray is out, we gain access to begin prying the back cover and frame away from the screen assembly. It's crucial to perform this step carefully and slowly to prevent any accidental cosmetic damage to the frame or any unnecessary stress on the internal components. Feel free to take your time with this part. Rushing can lead to mistakes, so patience and precision are key to getting the housing safely separated. Our next objective is to remove the rear camera housing, or the mid-frame shield. This step is necessary to gain proper access to the underlying Touch ID or fingerprint sensor cable. I will now proceed to disconnect the Touch ID flex cable from the main board. We can then carefully secure the cable aside so it doesn't obstruct the rest of the repair. Given that we are dealing with a charging issue, our focus shifts to the charging assembly at the bottom. We need to remove the protective shield covering the board, so I will now proceed to undo all the screws holding this cover in place. With the screws removed, I can now carefully lift and remove the protective cover, giving us full access to the internal components we need, specifically the charging port assembly. I will now proceed to carefully disconnect the display flex cable from the charging connector. Immediately following that, I will detach the antenna cables that run up and connect to the main logic board. Cables safely disconnected, only one thing remains. We must remove the final securing screw that holds the entire charging port assembly, or daughter board, in its housing. I will now use a thin tool to very gently pry out the faulty charging port assembly from the frame. Naturally, before dropping in the new charging port assembly, it's essential to thoroughly clean the area inside the frame. This ensures a perfect fit and guarantees the best possible quality for the repair. With the area cleaned, I can now seat the new charging port assembly firmly into its designated spot. Then, I will reinstall the retaining screw to make sure the board is securely fixed. Once the new charging connector is securely installed, the next logical step is to reroute and reconnect the antenna cables to their respective connectors on the board. It is absolutely vital to pay close attention to the cable routing here. The thinner antenna cable must be tucked underneath the thicker one for proper assembly. Specifically, ensure that the black cable runs over the red cable. We must now proceed with extreme caution, as connecting these antenna cables is an incredibly delicate process. There is zero margin for error. Applying too much force or making a single incorrect movement can permanently damage the cable itself or the new charging connector. With the antenna cables properly connected and routed, the next step is to reseat and snap the display flex cable back into place on the charging connector board. Before we proceed with the reassembly, I'm going to perform a quick test to ensure the new charging port is functioning correctly. And voila, it works perfectly. We can now confirm that the phone is charging correctly, which means the repair was successful. It is now time to reinstall the charging port shield cover and then carefully screw all the retaining screws back into place. With the screws fully tightened, the next step is to reconnect the Touch ID fingerprint sensor cable to its connector on the main board. With the Touch ID cable secure, we can now proceed to reinstall the camera shield, or the plastic mid-frame piece, back into the device. Once the camera shield is properly secured, we can carefully snap the back cover back into place on the device to complete the repair. And of course, don't forget the final small step of reinserting the SIM card tray. With that last step complete, this repair is officially at an end. I truly hope I was able to teach you something new today and that you enjoyed this video. Please like this video to support me in making more content in the future. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any remaining questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below.